What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben. So today when it comes to macOS 15 Sequoia, I'll be happy to let you know that we have a new update, and on the more info tab you can see the update size on my MacBook Pro 2.93 gigs, and I was updating from the Sequoia 3.5B that we saw a few days ago. Now unlike the previous update that had an enormous large download file size, you can see this one is very typical. The update file size and the download file size are in sync, so 2.9 gigs as well. And today has been really busy when it comes to software releases, and right here you can see some other operating systems that were released on July 23, 2024. iOS 18 alongside iPadOS 18 beta 4, macOS 15 beta 4, of course this is the video for that. We have tvOS 18 beta 4, soon to be covering that, visionOS 2 beta 4, watchOS 11 beta 4, and even for older devices such as iOS 17.6, you can see we have macOS 14.6 RC as well. So most of these updates that you see here I do cover on the channel at Halfman Half Tech. So if you want to get to see what's new and what the operating systems contain, then definitely do subscribe so that you don't miss out. My device is now up to date with the latest macOS 15 Sequoia update. Going into general and then software update, you can see the new build number that we have here, 24A5298H. This is pretty similar to the previous 3.5B update that we saw that had a build number of 24A5289H. So this is just an increment of 9 steps, and in terms of stability the letter hasn't changed, so it should tell you that we still have a few steps or other betas to go and bugs to address before we see a more stable letter and build. Now here are some of the new features and changes, as well as some things that have been addressed with this update. Now as a person who likes to use wireless audio with my Mac, with the Mac it's AirPods that I use, there was an issue with different Microsoft applications, and to be specific in Teams, if you're trying to speak while using AirPods, the mic had an issue and the audio wouldn't transfer. And at the same time in Microsoft Teams there was an issue with screen share, and after updating to the latest macOS 15 Sequoia update, those two issues that pertain the mic and screen sharing have been fixed. Unlike the previous update where there was an issue with iPhone mirroring, you can see with this one, instead of giving you the failed prompt over and over again, right here you can see it just works. And another fix or update that has been added that wasn't there before is the ability to be able to resize the iPhone mirroring window. So if you click where it says view, you have the ability to change between 3 different sizes, and you have large, which is this one that I have selected, and you can see this works really good with my 27-inch monitor. If I have an external monitor that's bigger than that, this is typically the size that you would go for. At the same time you have the actual size, and you can see how actual looks. And then if you go to where it says smaller, perhaps if you're using like a 14-inch MacBook or you're dragging it to your Mac, this is the one that would work. So you have the ability to also use shortcuts right there. So if you press Command and plus, you can see you have the ability to toggle quickly, and Command and minus also toggles between the different sizes. If you press Command and O, it also goes there. So those are the changes that are here when it comes to iPhone mirroring. In Safari, they've also made a minor update right here. If you go to About Safari, you can see the version is still the same, 18.0, but the build number has been updated, and this one is 20619.1.22.11.3, and the only change that's here is the last digit that has been incremented from a 1 to a 3. I'm yet to see what it is that they've changed, but from what I've seen as digging around and trying to update, it's still more or less the same. It may be a few bug fixes that are here. Also another fix that has been updated here has to do with Windows snapping, and you can see it seems to be a little bit snappier. So as I drag the different windows, you can see, for example, if I select the fill option right here, it won't overlap with the dock, and before you would have the window protrude the dock, and right here you can see when you even lower it, the dock is still at the forefront, and it will only disappear if you enter into full script mode, which is how it's supposed to be, and now it's working properly. Now, after updating, you're going to see a few splash screens in different Apple default application, and one such app that has been updated where the app icon has also sort of changed slightly is this talks app. So the only change that I can see right there is the difference in the sharpness of the vertical lines. So instead of the vertical lines being prominent and washing out the stock price itself, they are sort of washed out, allowing the sine wave or the stock price to be able to shine through them. The emoji update that we saw previously, where some of these glyph icons had been updated to newer ones, isn't updated yet, and they don't actually carry over. But some of your recent emojis, you are able to drag and drop them in a straight line like this, and you will still be able to send them as a one single message without having to actually send each one separately, which is something that wasn't always working in the previous update. Something that was in the previous update that has been removed is hidden image playground. So it wasn't showing, but if you were able to search for image playground or just search for image, basically it would be able to show up as a grayed out application, which wouldn't show up. And with the previous update, we also got to see how image playground looks like in macOS 15, but now with this new update it doesn't show up. But on some other operating system, they've made some additional changes to the image playground icons. But for now, with this update that I'm on, even if you were to go into your applications and try search advanced or in the hidden applications folder, it doesn't show up at this point in time. In some Apple default application, for example, if you open up the Apple TV app for the first time after you update, you get to see a new pop-up screen that says what's new in Apple TV, and it has to do with automatic subtitles, and subtitles will now appear when you mute or skip, which is something that's good. And now if I click continue and go to where it says Apple TV right here and go to about, you can see the version that we have 1.5.0.16, and that has been updated from a 0.150 that we used to have. And one very good update that the Apple TV has from previous updates as well has to do with HDMI audio pass-through, and this basically plays audio in Dolby Atmos and other Dolby audio formats using HDMI pass-through when connected to a supported device. And that change doesn't only just remain in the Apple Music application, it carries over into other Apple apps such as QuickTime, for example, and Apple Music. So if I open up Apple Music right here, go to playback, you can see enable lossless audio, and right here you have Dolby Atmos that you can choose, and you have HDMI pass-through. If you enable prefer HDMI pass-through, and now audio will be able to play Dolby Atmos and other Dolby formats through HDMI pass-through, which is something that's good. And also in the Apple Music here, the version has also been updated to match that of the Apple TV, and it's been updated from a 150 to a 160, just the last digits. Now the previous beta 2 and beta 3 updates seemed to break the App Store. So there was an issue, for example, where you wouldn't be able to go into your applications and see ones that have updates available, and if you try to update, it will just load, but you wouldn't actually be able to see the progress. Right here you can see here, I can see the progress and it's downloading in real time. Previously that was not possible, and at the same time it seemed to break or disable the ability for users to search and download and install new applications from the Mac App Store. But with this update, that issue has been resolved, and that's something that's good. When it comes to a major fix that in my opinion is one that should receive more credit and be talked about more, this update fixes an issue where users would be able to sign into iCloud and related application unauthorized, and that was through virtualization, but that issue has been resolved. So basically this is the new macOS 15 Sequoia update that I'm on, the 24A5298H update, and it does have some minor updates. And of course, like Apple mentioned, this update contains a lot of bug fixes, and it also has some existing issues that you would wanna look into before you look at updating to macOS 15 Sequoia. There's a whole page that you can go through of some issues that are existing in different functions such as Swift, such as screen time, and so on. So definitely do go through the private or the release notes of this update, and if you do find issues, then do give them in the feedback assistance recent application, and then Apple will be able to resolve those. So that's about it for me. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.